When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're the home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not-so-secret Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds and Skims use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/start selling, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/start selling to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/start selling.
Welcome to the RuPaul's Drag Race Recap Show for Global All-Star Season 1, Episode 4, titled Everybody Say Love Girl Groups. My name is Joe Batanz, and I am joined, as always, by one collaborative co-host. From Alaska Thoughts. Please say...
To be honest, she's a bit of a cunt.
Thank God I was praying it was that one.
To...
This Roberto Mata.
Hello, Robert.
Hey, Joe. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Robert just took a long drive.
Do you think I'm just a bit of a cunt or a massive bleeding cunt?
Just a bit, actually.
Un poquito.
Yes. I'm in a very much a Robert, I love Robert space right now.
It's... Great. That sounds like good to me. That sounds good to me.
Yeah. And if you want to know why, you're going to want to go to Just Between Us Girls over at the executive tier level and above over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia, or you could want to go over to apple.com. Just go to the beginning of the feed. It says right there, subscribe. I think it's like $6 a month, and you get Just Between Us Girls same time that everyone at Patreon does. Right there on Apple Podcasts. Find out why Robert and I got into a tiff. And then I was like, I told Robert, I didn't say this Just Between Us Girls. I told Robert, I go, you know I love you very much. He was like, yeah.
I think I did say it like that.
Yeah, kind of did.
I'm like, oh, yes, I know.
Yes. I love Robert.
I'm a pretty big fan of myself sometimes.
Yeah, I know. We know that too. Anyway, he said I'm not allowed to say that. Robert told me I'm not allowed to say those things.
No, that's, oh my God. See, you can't take a criticism and then decide to flip it under every single instance in the future.
Yeah, you're right. That was wrong. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
No, you're right. I'm agreeing with you.
This is one of those logical traps we talked about where it doesn't matter what you say, we're just going to keep digging.
No, Robert, I'm telling you right now, you are 100% correct. That was wrong of me to do. I'll say this. You said I would play a logical trap, and I did. And now I'm retracting the logical trap, and I'm apologizing.
Girl.
How was the tea, by the way? Everyone, we have the show called The Tea. Jay has departed us for the rest of the year, but we have a brand new co-host who's coming in. She's filling in for a couple of months. You'll find out who it is next week over on The Tea. But go over to The Tea. It's the big. All you have to do, you know what? We're so big now. We just got a note from Spotify that we've hit a major milestone. So you're not going to want to miss this train. So go over to any podcast app, write in The Tea. And the big blue box with Lori's big face in it, that's The Tea. By the way, Jay was happy about this milestone. I was happy. Lori was like, I don't get it. I was like, all right, well,
do you care to share the milestone?
We have thousands of listeners now.
Oh, party.
Yeah. So don't miss the boat. You're not going to miss the boat on The Tea.
No, run, don't walk.
Yeah, run, don't walk. Go get The Tea. Be better. I am obsessed, and I know I've already been on the show, and I've talked about this on Best of Today. But for people who know, if you know, this whole Be Better TikTok drama, I can't get enough of it. I really cannot. All right, thank you. All right. This week, the girls break up into groups of 3 to perform their own take on RuPaul's new single, Everybody Say Love. In the end, Kitty Scott-Claus was named the winner of the challenge, while Vanity Vane and Miranda LeBrow were placed in the bottom 2. After lip-sync battle for their lives, Vanity Vane lived to see another day, while Miranda LeBrow was asked to sashay away. Robert Mata, were the right queens in the bottom 2, and did the right queen go home?
I was surprised that Vanity was in the bottom 2. I think Pythia missed so many steps that I am an awful dancer. It's like I can't dance worth shit. But I feel like if I can see steps getting missed, I'm like, oh, this must be particularly egregious.
Sure.
And so I thought that Pythia missing damn near everything and maybe trying to make a character bit out of it, but I couldn't quite tell because she wasn't committed to that. I thought that unfortunately she should have been in the bottom. And I'm quite a fan, so I'm trying to be unbiased, I guess. And my other favorite, or one of them, is Miranda, but I think she also should have been in the bottom.
Because of the looks.
Her frantic dancing was relatable, but also not, I think, like the greatest of the bunch. But also, these were really, really, really messy girl group numbers this week.
Yeah.
I'm shocked, actually.
I did see this cracked out Reddit post that I was like, I'm not going to read too much. I read a little bit and I was like, I can't. But this person had this theory. I don't know if you saw this, that WoW and the producers used music theory to help slant who would win.
Does that have anything to do with like Latinx mix versus the K-pop mix versus the Europop mix?
They felt that the Europop mix suffered at that the Latinx mix and the K-pop mix gave those girls an advantage.
Interesting. I thought the Europop mix was the best one of the 3.
Europop mix was. Oh wait, I have it right here. I have a little outline here. The backdoor girl. Oh yeah, that was the best one of the 3. But I will say this, and I will talk about this on the show. I think it's because of the lyrics,
which I had a really difficult time following. For context, I have not seen anything online about this episode because I've been gone for the last 3 days. And when I rolled home and put on the episode today, has this been a topic of conversation? There were 8 episodes uploaded to Amazon. And I was a little shocked for a second. I was like, what the hell how long have I been gone?
What was it?
It was the first 8 episodes of the show. They were just there.
I haven't been on Reddit today, since because my phone shuts down. I'm sure those were taken down.
This is but an hour ago, so I was really confused. And I think if I wasn't recording this, I probably would have just kept watching. Let
me see right here. I'm going to go to Reddit. We're going to go to RuPaul's. I can go on now. It's after 4. Let's see here. Iconic bigotry. LaFille, Giga. What is the best look? Can you even do the split miscut? I don't see anything here. I mean, I believe in you.
So you watch it on Paramount Plus, I assume, right?
I watch it on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I watch it on the Paramount Plus channel on my Amazon app because the Paramount Plus app is horrible and I don't like to use it. So maybe it's just a glitch for me.
The Paramount Plus app is really bad.
So it's terrible.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. Come on, Paramount Plus.
I know.
You know what? Did you go to the gym today, Robert?
No.
Going to the gym is a new thing of mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been there since a major holiday. On the 4th of July, they were just closed,
Sure.
But today was the first holiday we're like, well, we're open till like noon. Is that right?
That's weird.
So I was like, all right, I'll cruise by around 10. It was so fucking crowded.
Oh, I would have
left. I left. I didn't go. But then I felt guilty when I got home and I turned around and I went back and did my,
okay,
I got it in.
Extra.
I got it in. But I was like, what the fuck? Because my gym's always empty. I didn't like it. Anyway. But I know what's so fun. I know, me too. But you know what's really weird is I finished I did my entire workout and I missed nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I walked out at 11:50 and there were still quite a bit of people there. I'm like, are they going to really just make these people kick them out at 1? I don't know.
Probably.
Listen, this is what I will say about the answer to the question on my own. Is with some of the girl groups or some challenges like this, it's difficult for me to, unless I guess I rewatch it multiple times or there's some obvious error, for me to really see why certain people are on the top or why certain people are in the bottom. So I do know why Pythia was in the bottom because they showed that, you know. But in terms of Vanity and Miranda, I don't know why they were in the bottom. I got the impression that for Miranda it was because of her looks. And I'm only saying this because RuPaul said when she did the whole thing, you know, you move like Jagger, but on the runway, you know, something, you know, I don't want to say a horrible thing, right? But it was about how the looks were bad. And but I don't, and the same thing with who was in the top. Like, well, I don't know why Kitty Scott Claus won.
I don't know that either. Actually.
Well, we are going to get to this fucking cunt. You've turned me over. Now she's now second place to Queen Conga. I don't like her.
I mean, the favoritism's insane, right?
Yeah, the favoritism is insane. I did see this right after the episode dropped. I hadn't watched the episode yet. Someone posted a picture from the promo picture. I don't know if you saw this. And it was like the way RuPaul sees Global All Stars. And it was like Alyssa, Kitty,
Queen.
And then who else? Was it? I don't know who the other person was. Was it Tessa?
Well, I don't know because once again, I have not been connected to the internet for 3 days. But I would believe it's the English-speaking Ru-hosted seasons. Girls, yes.
Well, Tessa wasn't on was she?
No.
She was in Germany. Like, I don't know who the other person was, to be honest, but I couldn't tell. But the point is that I was like, this is so true, though. But, you know, why don't we do this? Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we are going to get into the bulk of the episode. I gotta tell you something. So I'm waiting. There's technical problems right now, and I'm waiting for Lori Roggenkamp to fix her technical issues so that we can record an episode of our weight loss podcast, Fat Camp. And so while I'm waiting for her, you know, I want to talk to you guys about one of the things we've learned on Fat Camp is that the way you lose weight isn't the same for everybody. And so, like, what works for Lori works for Lori, what works for me, and what works for anybody else is specific to them. But everyone deserves to have a weight loss plan that is tailored to their specific needs. There's no one-size-fits-all program. You want a company that will tailor a program for you. And that's why I think you should check out Hers. Hers is doing this amazing thing for women's healthcare because they're providing access to GLP-1s. And if you don't know what that is, those are the weekly injections that have the same active ingredient by drugs you've heard of like Ozempic and Wegovy. And by the way, when you lose weight through Hers, it's totally realistic. It's not restrictive. Like, you can't have that. You can't have this. And it's totally focused on giving you access to a solution that works for you. So here's how Hers works. It connects you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine your best treatment option. If prescribed, you get the medication as part of a doctor-developed weight loss program, complete with ongoing support. It means like check-ins, medication adjustments, and answers to questions 100% online at no additional cost. Through Hers, weight loss plans are way more affordable, with compounded GLP-1 injections starting at $199 per month with a 12-month subscription paid up front. And that's a steal if you know what people are paying for these drugs. There are no hidden fees, no access fees, and no membership fees. Plus, your personalized treatment ships for free directly to your door. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time to find an option that works for you with Hers. Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/crime. I know that's a weird keyword, but just go with me on this. That's forhers.com/crime for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/crime. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply.
Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
And we are back. After the lip sync, the girls congratulate Soa to Muse for surviving and Pythia for... Did you hear how the girls call her Pythia? Pythia for winning. The next day, Pythia shades some of the outfits made in the previous episode, while Alyssa can't wait for a dancing challenge. Next, RuPaul entered the workroom to announce this week's maxi challenge. It's the girl group challenge. In 3 groups, the girls will work together to write their own lyrics and choreograph their own number on different versions of RuPaul's single, Everybody Say Love. In order to choose the 3 team captains, the girls must write a guess as to the size of the population from their home countries. In the end, Queen Kong, Miranda LaBrow, and Vanity Vane were named the team captains, and they broke down as follows. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of information here because I'm cutting out a lot of the fat from other things, but it's everything you need to know. Okay, so this group later names themselves Backdoor Gals. Okay, the team captain is Vanity Vane. The style that Everybody Say Love is Europop. And the team members are Vanity Vane, team captain, Kitty Scott Claus, Galavado, and Nehellenia. Okay. Europop. Okay. Miranda LaBrow, her team, they call themselves Fresh Meat because the M for Miranda, the E for Eva, the A for Alyssa, and the T for Tessa. Fresh Meat, M-E-A-T. K-pop version of the song. As I say it in Miranda, Alyssa, Eva, and Tessa were the contestants. And then Queen Kong was the captain of the Latinx version, and they called themselves Divibe. And it was Queen as the team captain, Soa de Muse, and Pythia. Okay, that was that. Then we move on. Oh, in the workroom, the girls get to work writing their lyrics and choosing their team names. Queen shares how fucking rad she is at everything. Miranda didn't really like the girl group challenge on her original season. Kitty is still bitter she didn't win the girl group challenge on her season. And Eva wants to have fun, while Alyssa insists it's more fun to win. Let's stop right there. Take it piece by piece. There's really not much to say on the segment where after the lip sync, it was legitimately just, yay, Soa, you made it, and congratulations, Pythia, and then they go to the title screen. But did you have any thoughts, Robert?
No, I was shocked at how quickly it went by. I guess they really don't give much of a fuck about Athena.
Yeah, well, it's one of these things where it was like, okay, well, I'm glad you put this in.
Yeah, no, a blitz. It was very, we have to do this, so let's just get this done with.
Yeah. Then, because then the next day, Pythia does come in. She does say, some of you girls were kind of messy the way your outfits were. And Alyssa uses that as a springboard to then come for Tessa in particular. So behind to sell an outfit. Do you have any thoughts on this sort of pre-RuPaul entering the room banter?
I don't know what kind of director or producer or anyone would choose to sound the alarm when Alyssa Edwards is about to start a rant.
That's a good point.
What?
Yes.
Are you guys not making television? This makes no fucking... Why would you cut Alyssa Edwards off?
Yeah, Alyssa starts, for people who don't watch the show, Alyssa was like, let me tell you, and then she goes like, woo, and they're like, oh, okay, and then you're right. I didn't even think about that, Robert. You're right. That would be the person... It would have been amazing if they would have known what was coming, if they do it anytime Nehellenia speaks. But
rude.
But so then RuPaul enters the workroom. She just basically really announces what the maxi challenge is, and to choose the team captains, they have to guess the population size. Any thoughts on that? I did see something online about this, but so somebody online, actually, let's fact check this. So Kitty Scott Claus, for her guess, she said 69 million, maybe as a joke. But they're not wrong here. Okay. And they said she wasn't right. Okay, she wasn't in the top 3. I don't think they even commented on it. But someone pointed out, she said 69 million. They're right at 67 million in the UK. And that would have been closer than Queen Kong. Queen Kong was 8 million off.
I'm awful at sizing population. Like, you know, some people are like, oh, there's a, I don't know, like a sign like 500 yards down. I'm like, what the hell is that? What's 500 yards down? Do I look like a footballer?
Yeah. Do they play golf?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah, I don't.
And same
I don't
with
get
population sizes. I actually remember how many people there are in the United States because I had an interview question like 10 years ago where they wanted me to logically think through something that had to do with the population size of the U.S. And I was like, girl, I don't fucking know. Now I know that it's like 334 million, but
I'm a little different because I'm such a fucking arrogant American that everything's very American centric to me. So I do happen to know that ours is around 350 million, right? And I actually happen to know because I had to get in fights with people because, like, for instance, you know, I remember during the last election, people were bitching that LA County took a long time to count their votes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did the research, and I can tell everyone this. LA County is bigger population size than 41 of the 50 United States. Los Angeles County.
Yeah, that tracks.
So, okay, so then you see that stuff, right? And then you start to see shit about China. And you're like, there are cities you've never heard of in China that blow our numbers away. You know, where it's like some unknown city in China, like, it has 50 million people in it. And you're like, what the fuck?
That is very American of you to be like, you've never heard of this place, but in China.
50 million people who live there have known completely about this place. Yeah. Yeah, like literally, it's like, who even knows what that city is? And it has like 50 million people who live there. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So anyway, so there's that. Okay, so let's go to the workroom. So in the workroom, there's a few things that happen. You know, the people are just talking. I want to talk about. Well, I'll let you go first because I want to save it.
Well, I just found it funny that you said, you know, the people are talking in the workroom. That's the gist of it, right? I noticed that Alyssa Edwards said, you know what would be funner? And then there's a very, very, very quiet Tessa saying, funner. And I just love the idea of Alyssa Edwards' English getting corrected.
By a German. Well, I want to actually go to what Alyssa said. She said, you know, she missed out on Read You Wrote You. Or Read You. Is it Read You Wrote You or Read You Wrote You?
I've heard it both ways.
Okay. Ocarina of Time, Ocarina of Time,
Exactly.
Ocarina of Time.
Exactly.
Anyway, I was thinking they should. How much would you love like an Alyssa? Who else would be in that? Who just missed being in the top 4? I would. Well, you know, she quit. I would love to see an Alyssa, Adore. Who else would I want to see? In like a Redux Read You Wrote You.
I mean, I want to throw Coco Montrese into everything.
Coco Montrese, sure. Oh, you know what? What's her nuts? Tatiana.
Love Tatiana. So just you want Read You Wrote You with everyone who didn't do it except Ginger.
Yes. Was Ginger even? Oh, I forgot. I hate this fucking Ginger. I don't hate her. She's not in Queen Kong era. She's not in that zone, but I just don't like her. Okay, so now here's the next part. So there's a part where it's actually later in the segment where Queen and her team are sitting there and they're talking about what kind of lyrics they're going to write. And she's like, I really want to write lyrics where I'm just inspiring those girls. And I'm like,
oh, I knew you were going to do this.
Who the fuck is Queen Kong inspiring? Right?
You to go on this rant.
You know what? You're right. Wait. I don't know what this means here. I go, and then she reads, I forgot to put her person for not wanting to do the same thing, and she's always doing the same thing, and then she does the same shit every time. That's what I wrote. I was so angry I missed words.
Yeah, it sounds like you were getting real frantic.
I think what it was is when Alyssa was like doing some dance and Queen refers to go like, I don't want to be doing that same thing that they've been doing. I'm like, Bitch, you're the fucking person who does a goddamn barrel roll anytime someone fucking coughs. And the lyrics are always the same fucking shit. I should have written the lyrics beforehand. It's going to be like, I'm inspiring the world because I'm a person of color and I'm going to everyone to look up to me and I'm going to be on Mount Rushmore because I am Mount Rushmore. And I'm just like, ugh, I do not like her. And she was particularly grating on my nerves this week. I promise Robert.
RuPaul said it was divine, though.
This RuPaul can go fuck herself in terms of Queen Kong. Queen Kong is an awful person.
I would love for y'all to honestly have a beer and hash it out, dude.
Cash it out, all right. I don't know what that means. All right. Any other thoughts?
I can't remember too many parts of the.
There's not much to this episode. There really
I mean,
isn't.
it's cool to talk about cheesy chips and dick. I love those things too.
It's one of those episodes where they're like, we just have to put stuff because it really is just them choosing names and this and that. Even we're going to this next. During the choreography sessions, Alyssa struggles to teach Tessa to dance. Queen takes charge because she's the fucking boss, and Vanity struggles and gets her in her head about it. Oh, that's right. Queen goes and she goes like, I did the choreo because you know what? I take charge. I'm very confident. I'm like, who fucking just fuck ugh. So any thoughts on the choreo session? Oh, no, I'm not done. Sorry. It's elimination day and the girls get ready for the runway. Vanity confesses she's still in her head about the challenge. Miranda feels proud of what she's accomplished on this challenge because of her disabilities, or despite her disability, I should say. Alyssa doesn't fall for Queen Khan's stupid trap. Meanwhile, Nehellenia shares that her goal is to show the other girl that she's good enough because Nelly believes there are girls who think she's weak. When pressed, Nehellenia refuses to share who she feels that way. All right, now, choreo session. Any thoughts, Robert?
I was really unsure about why they flew Jamal all the way to Colombia and then didn't have him choreograph their girl groups.
He's busy trying to find shirts with a deep enough, cut.
I'm not going to lie. I think I actually have to go through Jamal's closet.
Oh,
take a couple garments for myself.
By the way, every fucking week, this RuPaul talks about Jamal's dick when she introduces him, and she goes like, he puts the D in Jamal Sims, and I'm like, there's no D, and for some reason, episode 4, he goes like, I don't know what that means, and I'm like, by this point now, you don't know what that means?
Yeah, Jamal's giving bottom 2 for Snatch Game at the moment in terms of volleying with Ru.
Yes, you're right. That is going to be a problem. I want to talk about the choreo here. I think I told you in a previous episode, maybe the last episode, that I find myself attracted to Tessa Testicle. Okay, She lost me. On the choreo session, we see her legs, and they were ripped.
Her legs are taller than you.
Oh, her legs are for sure taller than me, but I don't like little skinny chicken legs, which makes it even worse.
You know how sensitive I am about these things.
You don't, Robert. I've seen your legs. You don't have tiny little chicken legs. You have muscular Aztec thighs.
That's insane. But anyways, I also noticed how Tessa just has Ru had an opportunity to talk to her about how she has the supermodel body and how she needs to lean into that and take advantage of it. I can't remember what girl she told that to. Maybe it was Tia Coffee, I think. Same
Who
idea.
Was that black girl that you thought she was going to win? Everyone thought she was going to win, like UK season 2 or 3 or something. And then she petered out. No, not Taste.
Black Peppa?
She kind of... Yes, who? Black what?
4.
Black Mamba?
Black Peppa.
Oh, Black Peppa. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Was it her?
Yeah, she won the first challenge and then she was in the bottom the rest of the show. Yeah. She was my favorite that season, though.
Yeah. By the way, so shady that Alyssa's talking and she says, I don't want something about the weak link. And as soon as she says weak link, they show Tessa just standing there. And that was really shady.
It is nasty. Nasty work.
And then I cannot believe I fell for this trickery that up until you pointed out that Galavado wasn't tall. I legitimately thought she was tall. And then I saw her in the choreo session, and she's like a little shorter than the other girls. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. She might not be that short. And then I saw her shoes, and they were fucking like this thick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like a really, really thick. I'm like, oh, she's really short. Which makes me think she's hotter, actually. I like the idea of Galavado being like a pocket gay.
Do other people say pocket gay? I wonder. Is that like a thing?
Other than me?
Well, I said it last week, but I've realized that that's just the word that people used around me, and I don't know if that's something that's commonly used.
Why would they use it around you? You're the opposite of a pocket gay.
Because they were talking shit about someone.
Oh.
In a positive way.
Well, your ex is kind of a pocket gay.
No, he was 5'10".
He is?
Yeah, you were surprised by this, I think, several months ago also. No, he's dead ass 5'10".
I thought he was like my height.
No, girl.
All right, Elimination Day. Let's talk about that.
I think this is where the meat of the episode is, really, which is part one of the Nehellenia conversation. Mm-hmm. Even before she says anything, almost every confessional is Kitty Scott Claus saying something nasty about Nehellenia. She hates her for some reason.
There's something she did that she hates her.
I think Nehellenia must have done something in general because the girls hate that poor sweet girl.
They don't like her. No.
And it's what was your read on it before the Untucked?
Well, if I would have been in that cast, I would have told her, because she did hint that she thought Alyssa and Queen Kong. Now, she's probably dead on about Queen Kong because Queen Kong's a hateful cunt. But with Alyssa, the one thing I would say to anybody who said that, I'm like, Alyssa is so fucking self-involved that she has no thoughts about anybody else in this cast.
Probably.
She does not think poorly about you. She doesn't think positively about you. She doesn't think about you. That's what I would say to her. Queen Kong, you might have a point. She's an awful person. My read was, the read was, I've talked about this before. I had a Nehellenia style meltdown during the Spotify program.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
And I'll tell you why. And by the way, I was backed up in private. And I'm going to mention a person, and it wasn't this person's fault. Okay? It wasn't this person's fault. But there were these two girls who were running the Zoom version of the program. Okay? They weren't in charge. They were just running the Zoom. They were like the moderators of the Zoom program. And they would give us homework, right? Whatever bullshitty homework, okay? And they fucking and this is not, I love this person. Maybe call me a basic white girl, right? But any basic girl fucking falls in love with Christian, okay? So every fucking week, we would show up like the good students that we are, right? And there's 10 of us, okay? 10 people. And the first person they would go to every meeting to talk about homework would be Christian. Christian every single time would be like, "Duh, I didn't have time to get to it because I was so busy, so I didn't do it." And then they would just chit chat with Christian for like 20 minutes. We're all just sitting there. And then they're like, "Well, we're out of time for that. Let's go on to the new thing." And I'm like, so finally, after like the third or fourth meeting, I had a fucking Nehellenia meltdown. And I was like,
oh, no.
What the fuck? I go, I'm doing the fucking goddamn homework. I'm doing and it wasn't just me, like I said. I talked to people, they were like, yeah, it is kind of, Robert, it was weird. They would just go to Christian.
Everyone just had to listen to Christian and these girls gab on Zoom in front of everyone?
Yes, and then they would go like, well, that's the homework, and Christian wouldn't do the homework. So we never covered the homework.
It was really just Christian Corner.
Yeah, it was Christian Corner. But again, it wasn't Christian's fault. He's sitting there and they'd be like, okay, let's talk about the homework. Christian. And then he'd be like, oh, and then they would just chat with him. I don't blame him. I would do the same thing. But it was just
right,
like,
how did you address this?
I threatened to quit.
Did you just start yelling into the microphone? Did you blow up the chat?
No. I just wrote a dramatic
Did you address them directly?
Email.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Well, yes, I did address them directly, but via email. And I said, do you hate us? And they're like, no, why do you say that? And I said, well, I don't know. You only have to... let me tell you this. I was listening to, they had to bring in another moderator. And she was great, by the way. In addition, they didn't fire them. They had to bring them in addition. And then this girl, she loves the magic. One of them lives in LA. She goes to the Magic Castle all the time. Not through my passes. And then one day on Instagram, this is what an evil dick I am. One day on Instagram, she posted a photo of herself in the Magic Castle bathroom.
Oh.
Yes, as Robert knows, you're not allowed to take pictures in the Magic Castle. And I wrote to her privately.
Oh my God.
And I said, I would take that down if I were you, because the Magic Castle like stalks Instagram and they ban people for life if they find out. I didn't tell her I sent them to the Magic Castle.
Girl, I believe it.
I did believe it. I'm telling you. I sent the pictures of the Magic Castle.
And what did they say, Joe? Did they say thank you, you little snitch?
I don't care. All right, let's move on. Girl group challenge. Your thoughts. Let's go with the first group here. The first group was Fresh Meat. Oh, no, that's the choreo session. Sorry, no, I was wrong. I'm sorry, it was The Vibe. And The Vibe, for people want to remember, The Vibe was led by Queen Kong and includes Soa Demuse and Pythia, and they did a Latinx version of Everybody Say Love. Any thoughts on this, Robert, on this particular one?
So I probably should have rewatched this bit because it wasn't clear to me. Was Soa speaking was she singing in French? Yes. But then the rest of the song's lyrics were in Spanish? Were they?
Oh, you know what? I'll be honest with you. That's even good of you to notice that. I heard French and I checked out and just read the lyrics. I didn't pay attention.
Well, on top of it,
yeah.
But it flipped around so much, and like we've said several episodes over, the audio quality was not so great, so it's like difficult to capture, all this going on. So I thought that the verses themselves were just whatever, because it's a Drag Race verse writing challenge, so they're always going to be. But I thought Soa and Queen did a good job dancing, and Pythia, as I mentioned earlier, it was definitely a baby giraffe on legs for the first time.
Oh, I just forgot something right now. I'm looking at my notes. I forgot to go on a rant here.
Give it to us,
I'm gonna give my opinion on the fucking this because it's Queen Kong's group.
Mm-hmm.
This fucking Queen Kong on Elimination Day. She's with Alyssa. And this is why I love Alyssa. Alyssa's so savvy. She's so smart. Queen Kong goes, so, how was it working with those girls? Like trying to get Alyssa to talk shit.
Mm-hmm. And
Alyssa said nothing but positive things about them. Alyssa's not going to fall for that shit. By the way, she falls for it in Untucked. But I'm just glad that Queen didn't get her to fall for it. That's what I care about. Okay. Look, I have the same opinion here, as I stated earlier, that in these girl group challenges now, unless there's an obvious fuck up, then I'm not going to really notice. So in the Vibe, Pythia was clearly struggling with the moves, and they would make sure and show you
in the end,
like boom, that she was messing up. But like for instance, they were going on and on about how amazing Queen was, and I was like. And I mean, fair. Was she? She was fine. She was
fine. Yeah.
She was fine. Most of the girls were fine. Even the ones who were in the top were fine. If they excelled, it was with their lyrics. I couldn't even tell you the thing about Vanity Vane's performance, that why it was bad or anything.
Well, that's what I said at the top of the episode. I agree.
Well, I agree with past Robert. The next one out was Fresh Meat. That was Miranda LeBrau's team, when that included Alyssa Edwards, Eva LaQueen, and Tessa Testicle. Did you have any there was a K-pop version of Everyone Says Love. Everybody Say Love. Did you have any big thoughts on that one?
I don't really listen to K-pop at all, but do they all sound like Blackpink songs? Because that was just a fake Blackpink song.
So, somebody that I know or knew was a big K-pop fan, and I listened to a lot of it when I hung out with him. And I would agree with you, and I feel a lot of the K-pop stuff sound like Blackpink. Now, I could be offending people who love K-pop, and I actually like the K-pop that I hear, but I'm also not the person to ask because every song, like I'm not good with that stuff. So I agree with you, but I don't know if it's my fault.
Well, same. I just don't know. I'm ignorant to the K-pop world. I think I'm just a slight bit too old for it, to be honest with you.
Well, here's what I will say. What I've noticed is that it seems like what they do at Drag Race, and so I think you might not be wrong, you might be correct, and maybe a Blackpink fan can tell us, that they'll take a popular song and then they will essentially do a very close mimic of the beat, the rhythm, the orchestration, the chord progression, and even just a little bit off of the melody of that song. A good example I didn't realize till recently was Circus by Britney Spears and a cut version of a song from Baddest Bitches in Herstory.
Okay.
Are almost identical. So Lucian Piani just took Circus and applied it to this song. And so I think they do that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised they just took a Blackpink song and made a song that rhymed with it. In terms of
I think they probably took that song that Aura Mayari did a awful talent show number to, I think, open to open season 15. And it was that song. But anyways, the girls themselves, it was just really, I think I already said this about Miranda, but it was a frantic performance. And I was watching it and I'm like, I think I had way too high expectations for this season. At least in terms of what the production's been able to offer. So it just looked messy.
Well, I saw someone on Reddit say that RuPaul is on too many of these shows now. That she's on so many of them that she seems tired and or disinterested and or bored. And I'm wondering if there's some credence to that she's just doing so many that she just no longer cares. And so
how many death drops can you see?
Yeah, and I think that trickles down to production. So, yeah.
Well, I do think this was the worst one, unfortunately.
And so it sounds like you and I will agree then the last one, Backdoor Gals, was the best one. And I have an idea why I think that, but what are your thoughts here?
Well, I thought the song production wasn't as cloying as the other two. I don't understand why Kitty was praised so much. I thought Nehellenia was the standout of that group, truthfully. Yeah. And I was surprised to see that. No, I take that back. I thought Galavano was clearly the winner of the challenge. Now that I think about it, I thought her lyrics were quick and rapid. She performed the way that we knew that she would because she's always been a killer dancer. So I would have given she wasn't even high for the challenge.
Yeah. No, not even high. Like mid, like safe, right?
Yeah. This is get your Mexican ass out of here.
I feel like they do that a lot to her because it happened on the talent show too.
That's true. I guess are we starting a robbed Galavano's robbed narrative because that's what I'm seeing, and I would have to go back and look. But apart from maybe I think Eva La Queen in the first in her talent show, has RuPaul given positive critiques to any like English as a alternate language queen or additional language or whatever it is?
You're giving me something to pay attention to.
It was I feel like he brought Athena and Miranda up, talked shit to them, and sent them to the house. And Gala hasn't gotten positive critiques.
Didn't she like Nehellenia?
That's true. Okay, you're right. Yeah, this episode, Nehellenia did get positive critiques, which gagged the girls. My God, but we'll get there in a second.
We're going to talk about that. Look, I want to compare Fresh Meat to Backdoor Gals. Fresh Meat, I have a note here. It says, can we have a ban about how they're going to spread queerness? I am so sick of that theme in the lyrics. How you're going to spread drag and love and joy and gayness everywhere. Just look, I'm all for it, but I'm just sick of hearing about it, right? But I liked the Backdoor Gals. They all had something fucking different. One was about dick, and one was about Nehellenia's really was about anime.
She literally made a Pikachu noise. She was like, Pikachu. Yes. I was like, what? Again, this is the Pokemon version of Drag Race, apparently. Yeah. And the runway was practically
because that's
a Disney
Eva
version.
the Queen brought out like Charizard something or other, right?
A lot of Pokemon references this year. I'm into it. And I think Galavado did what she always does, and she just made it about being horny and sexy. You think those were her lyrics?
Yeah. So anyway, so for me, Backdoor Gals was the best. Would I say that Kitty Scott Claus was the best of those? I would say no. I agree with you that, I don't know if you said this, but I think Nehellenia is probably the best one. And then that leads us right into Untucked. Well, let me actually, let's talk about Untucked. Over on Untucked, Alyssa and so. Oh no, we need to talk about the runway. Color My World. Oh, I have things to say about the runway.
Yes.
Okay.
That's rare.
I do actually have things to say about the runway. So RuPaul makes it clear for the runway that there are to be 2 reveals, colorful reveals. And I saw something very interesting and actually I'm going to use Galavado. Galavado is a perfect example here in that, to me, the best reveals, and I don't really know what I don't have fashion vocabulary, but there seems to be a seamless, pardon the pun, in the best reveals, a sort of seamless transition from one outfit to the other, where it might be that maybe the top falls and it turns into another dress, or a spin and they remove something, but it seems to be like a transition. You see the dress transform in front of you. And I felt like, and it's funny because these 2 queens have been getting it the worst from us, this Kitty Scott Claus and Queen Kong, their reveals were just 3 outfits. There was no transition. It was like I just took out a thing, and then there was just something else under it, and then I took up another thing, and there was something else under it. Does that make sense? There was no elegance.
Was a lot of that this runway, for sure.
There was no elegance to the transition. It didn't flow. It flow. That's what I'm looking for, like flow. They didn't flow. It was just like Queen Kong's literally just, I thought Queen's was awful. I
agree.
Queen Kong's runway was awful. And Kitty's wasn't much better, if I'm going to tell you. And so the fact that they were in the top and Kitty won is, what is going on here? Because they were the worst of the bunch. Thank you.
Even Queen knew that when Ru said, "Now let's talk about this runway." Queen made a knowing comment to her face.
Yeah,
she's like, "Oh fuck."
Oh yeah, she's like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah,
and then
yeah. So there's some humility there. Maybe now you can start liking her a little bit more, Joe.
I want to be humiliated. Any other thoughts on the runway, Robert Mata?
Just an awful lot of Disney references, right? I think probably only 2 or 3, but that was. I don't understand the thought process of I'm going to do a reveal, so I'm going to go from a regular dress to Dory to Nemo. I love it, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know how someone comes up with Finding Nemo as their reveal dress.
It was really bizarre.
Like Evil the Queen going from like the evil queen to
yes, that was smart and different evil queens.
I get the villainous storyline that tracks. Dory and Finding Nemo, I don't get it. But I love it.
Yeah. Over on Untucked, Alyssa and Soa speculate that Nehellenia may be in the bottom. When the tops and bottoms enter the room from the main stage, the girls chatter about this and that. But it's the moment when Nehellenia reveals she had good critiques that things get ugly. Alyssa's incredulity, let me say that better and pronounce words. Alyssa's incredulity sends Nehellenia into a spiral, and she accuses the girls, or some of the girls, of not believing in her. This leads to a full-on argument with Soa and Vanity Vane storming off in a huff. I don't have a discussion point here, but let's put a discussion point here. Robert, this is the moment that everyone's talking about on the internet. What were your thoughts on this Untucked?
I love the social dynamics of one person speaking up and saying, I think you guys don't like me, and the rest of the group getting just pissed and more or less being like, yeah, we don't like you because you're saying fuck ass shit like this. And then, but while also telling her, no, we do like you, but they're so quick to anger and viciousness towards her that it's like, well, so she was right all along. You guys don't like her or respect her because you won't even listen to her. And then Queen came straight for her and said, this girl's going to be in the bottom, but we're over here talking about your punk ass anyway. And it was just, I don't think it's been, I actually didn't expect, I think, the Queen's claws to come out quite like this on this season because so many of them don't have pre-existing relationships. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of surprised that it got into it the way that they did. Personal attacks.
Yeah, it's one of these things. So I watched it a couple of times, and I even pulled the audio, but I don't want to spend time on it. We will be here another 30 minutes. But what I will say is, in reviewing it multiple times, is, with the exception of Alyssa, who I think again is so in her own universe, I want to think about Soa Demuse, but it's specifically Alyssa and Soa. Before the girls walk in the room, Alyssa asks, who do y'all think is in the bottom?
Mm-hmm.
Gala says Pythia and Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
And then Soa is the first one to say Nehellenia. And then Alyssa agrees that it's Nehellenia. And those are the only two that actually say Nehellenia. Eva says Pythia as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then the girls walk in. And then Alyssa at some point says, we're skipping over a lot, by the way. There's a lot of banter about who did this and about get up. But at one point, Alyssa says, how were the critiques? Or who's in the top? And Miranda says Nehellenia. And Alyssa's like, what? like shocked. And then when Nehellenia says she got good critiques, Alyssa goes, really? Because we thought, she says we, or she didn't even say some of us thought you were in the bottom. And Soa's like, and I hear Soa goes, yeah. I'm like, girl, it was you two. It was the two of you who says he was in the bottom.
Yeah, Soa did not come off well this episode.
No. And so then they have this argument. And Soa's one of the people that walked off. I'm like, bitch, you were the one that said she was in the bottom.
What are you so mad about?
Why is she mad? Well, what's funny is afterwards, Queen has gone online and been like, you guys shouldn't be judging. You only saw a little bit of the conversation. You didn't see how annoying she was for 45 minutes. And then they're like, they only walked off because they had to prepare for their lip sync. I'm like, why did Soa wasn't preparing for a lip sync? She wasn't safe.
Yeah.
Miranda does say, but you can tell she's not even in the conversation. She goes, I gotta get dressed. And she leaves. Vanity, I guess, could make the argument that she was doing the same thing, but she was such a huff about it.
No, she's like, I just don't like people like that. I don't like her. And I was like, wow, they said fuck that bitch.
Yes, they did.
Then Queen literally said she's a bit of a cunt. Which, I mean, that is Australian, though.
And then, I can't believe Kitty said this on the air. She didn't look too hot either. Kitty says, I wanted to revel in the glory of being in the top, and that fucking bitch didn't let me do it. And I was like,
well, you got to let drag queens be drag queens. So they want their moment.
They want their moment. Like, who was the one that got mad because they didn't let everyone, remember she won, and then something had happened, and then in the after the lip sync part, she had a tantrum because she didn't get to have her moment.
I don't remember. From UK3?
I don't remember what season it was. It was a moment where, like, I want to say it was an All Stars. I want to say it was an All Stars.
Trinity K. Bonet getting pissed that no one congratulated her.
You're right. It was Trinity K. Bonet. That's exactly who it was.
But she's always been such a Debbie Downer for no reason. Yeah. It's like, oh, she really is.
God. Yeah, it's one of these things I've already related why, but it seems on the internet everyone is very pro Nehellenia and very kind of disturbed by how mean the girls were to her, especially because then when you watch it in retrospect, Pythia's just like, I'm sad. And they all run and crowd Pythia and like, oh no, girl, you were amazing. Mm-hmm. You were everything, blah, 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 blah. And Nehellenia's like, hey, I'm sad because you guys ignore me and stuff like that. And they're like, you fucking cunt.
Serious?
You fucking bitch. You know?
I guess like I said, I haven't really seen any discourse. I'm excited to read about it later when I'm chilling. But I did say that Nehellenia on Italia season 2 was a very, very active presence on the season, and I could see being very fucking annoying in the room. So maybe Queen has a point. Maybe Nehellenia was just getting on everyone's nerves because she's just so excited and hyperactive. And none of it made the edit, and so it's like, you know when like there's that person who definitely has like the most presence in a room and like is commanding, like and well maybe, but in this case I mean like verbally, like they're just talking all the fucking time. They they're active, and then they switch it, and they're like, no one pays attention to me, no one's listening to me. It's like, because we listen to you 99% of the time.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what's going on with Nehellenia. And the editors just haven't done that thing where they like, splice together moments where Nehellenia just rambles on and then adds a little time lapse to it.
But Nehellenia isn't even interesting enough for them to like give her a positive edit. I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to do, because they could have easily.
Well, they're cinnamon rolling her.
Oh, why do you think that is?
Because they're making her this sweet, innocent little baby who's getting ganged up on by all these mean, nasty girls.
But they saw all the footage. Maybe they really feel that's what it was like. I don't trust any. Queen Kong's the only one that's commented, and I wouldn't, if that fucking bitch said my name is Joe Batanz to me, like your name is Joe Batanz, I wouldn't believe her. I don't trust a fucking thing that bitch says. Back on the main stage, Kitty Scott Claus is named the winner of the challenge, while Vanity Vane and Miranda LeBrow are placed in the bottom two, forcing them to face off in a lip sync battle for their lives. The song Spice Up Your Life by the Spice Girls. In the end, you know what? Congratulations, RuPaul, for not saying Space Ghettos. Or Space Ghetto.
Oh, yeah, the ghettos.
In the end, Vanity Vane lived to see another day, while Miranda LeBrow was asked to sashay away. Roberto Mata, any final thoughts on the episode?
This is. Does anyone like that song? They must, because it's, a worldwide mega hit.
They've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, I think they have used it a number of times. But it does make sense. That song, it was finally a lip sync that I was like, okay, yes, this song makes sense for Global All-Stars, and I'm happy for that. Even if personally, I think that song sucks. But that's just it is an iconic song.
Oh, I don't think we really talked about the lip sync. Who do you think really won the lip sync? Do you think Vanity really did win that lip sync?
I will say that I lived, and I was hoping that Miranda was not going to move when she just started the lip sync by just standing in one place and fanning herself.
That was really weird.
I loved it. I was like, ooh, I love this queen. But
yeah, that would have been great if she would have taken it really dramatically and just really treat like Latrice doing Natural Woman.
I really wish she had just stuck there. I didn't need the clown nose thing. I thought it was cute though, and then there was some Latino solidarity when she called out Gala when she left, and then she told RuPaul that at least she'll be bringing flowers to her funeral. Which, is there some cultural context I'm missing?
I feel like it's some sort of like Brazilian. I don't know. I have to ask a Brazilian person.
Well, I loved it. I can't ask a Brazilian person because they're not on Twitter.
Who? Oh, it's right. Twitter got kicked out of Brazil.
Yeah.
Come to Brazil, Twitter.
I know. Who's coming to Brazil now?
Yeah, who's going to come to Brazil? You know what? Last week, I talked about how I don't get why the World of Wonder conforms to this broadcast paradigm, blah, blah, blah. But now this week's episode was 53 minutes, and I'm like, maybe they're actually doing what I said and just cutting the episode the way they want to cut the episode and not thinking about broadcast. Because now this episode is randomly 53 minutes.
I should have looked at the run times for those other 4 or 5 episodes that for some reason are populated on my Amazon page.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah. And that's all I got. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Recap. Be sure to join us. Oh, wait. I'm going to stop here. Robert, we have to remember next week we have to do that big girl fantasy.
Oh shit, we have really continued to forget that, but I can't do it next week. I'm going to be abroad. Remember?
Oh, that's right, you're gone. So in a couple of weeks, Robert's going to have a co-host, a sub for Robert next week. So do that, and then 2, we have to do. I want to respond to that. A person wrote to us. They were really mad that Robert spoiled. They were mad at both of us. They were mad that Robert spoiled.
I forgot.
The winner of Canada versus the World 2. It was Lemon, by the way. And then they were mad at me for spoiling. Oh, Robert, you know what would be the gaggiest of all things of all gag? Go watch those other 4 episodes and then come on here and tell us who wins and goes home on every single one.
Well, I'm sure the subreddit probably has it.
Yeah, I got in trouble for not editing it out. And so the guy's like, I'm never listening again. So we have to address that as well. All right.
I forgot that happened because I was totally he called me a jackass for spoiling. And I really had been planning on calling someone a jackass. That was my scheme, but I forgot.
Yeah. Be sure to join us next week and every week as we continue to discuss, dissect, and deconstruct each brand new episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Global All-Star Season 1. So, for this, Roberto Mata and myself.
Sashay away until next week.
Thank you for listening to Drag Race Recap. Have something to say? Leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can also email us at dragracerecap@afterthought.media. For more Drag Race and LGBTQ content, support us over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. This podcast was produced by Sabrina Vadabancourt. You can follow Robert Mata on Instagram at RAWB54. Follow Joe Batance on Instagram at Joe Batance. Special thanks to these expensive tier Patreon supporters: April Pacheco, Astute Girl, Brad Coley, Derek Byers, Doofus Maximus, E. Smith, Efrain Barbosa, Emma, Phil Skit Pony, Flying Suki, Humble Pie, J. Thomas Plank, Kathy Zender, Lauren Eckert, Lucy Carrasco, Luke Stamen, Mary S., Mike Yeager, Nikki Baker, Mickey Pettit, Poppy Woods, We've Gotta Go Edita, Robert NYC, Sarah Yu, Runner Brandon, Tom Bombs, Traby Cosmos, and Troy Anderson. Drag Race Recap is an Afterthought Media podcast.